8 high-protein breakfast ideas to fuel your day even when you're half asleep. Protein is the nutrient on everyone's lips these days. With its booming popularity, you've likely discovered creative ways to incorporate it into your diet. But what about breakfast? Even if you're not quite Ashton Hull, mornings are often so hectic that breakfast becomes an afterthought, reduced to a mere cup of coffee or granola bar. In fact, a 2024 Harris poll revealed that 15% of Americans skip breakfast altogether. While it's possible to compensate for a lack of protein at breakfast by doubling up later in the day, registered dietitians emphasize the importance of spreading protein intake throughout the day, including a substantial amount at breakfast. And it doesn't have to be complicated. There are numerous ways to get the protein you need in just a few minutes. We consulted experts on the best strategies, the importance of morning protein, and how much to aim for. Not only is eating breakfast crucial, but registered dietitian and exercise physiology expert J.J. Mayo stresses that the meal should revolve around protein. The word protein comes from the Greek word proteo, which means to come first. So we've known for a long time that protein is the building block the body needs, he explains. Mayo points out that after not eating or drinking for at least 8 hours overnight, our bodies need fuel to function properly. Otherwise, blood sugar levels drop, leading to low energy and irritability. Consuming protein in the morning is essential for both weight loss and muscle gain, according to Max Deutz, a registered dietitian and the director of sports nutrition education in Colorado State University's athletics department. A 2023 scientific study published in the journal Obesity found that eating breakfast was associated with greater weight loss. Dr. Deutz explains that this is because protein in the morning stabilizes blood sugar levels and provides satiety, reducing the likelihood of overeating later in the day. If your morning workout doubles as your recovery meal, Dr. Deutz says that same protein supports muscle growth. Protein at breakfast takes on more importance if you're trying to build muscle, because you're trying to optimize that skeletal muscle remodeling, he says. Protein is the building block of muscle, and if you're strength training, you need more of it to repair the tissue broken down during workouts. How much protein should you aim for at breakfast? While exact recommendations vary based on age, health goals, and activity levels, registered dietitian Nicole Finelli, who spearheads the wellness program for Flick Athletics, suggests aiming for 30% of your overall protein intake at breakfast. For example, a 150-pound person who is aiming for 1.2 grams per kilogram of protein would need about 82 grams of protein per day, or 27 grams per meal, she says. How can you achieve this? The following 8 breakfast ideas will help. 1. Have dinner for breakfast. Traditional American breakfasts tend to be high in sugar and low in protein. Think pancakes, pastries, and cereal. But there's no rule against using dinner foods in your morning meal. And Dr. Mayo says it's a great hack for meeting your protein goals. A tofu bowl with quinoa, avocado, and salsa is a delicious savory protein-rich breakfast, he suggests. Chicken, salmon, and beans are 3 other protein-rich foods Dr. Mayo says are underutilized at breakfast. Especially if you have canned beans on hand, they can make for a good breakfast burrito. Or you can spread white beans on toast for a protein-rich alternative to avocado toast. As for chicken, think of it as a healthier alternative to sausage, which is higher in saturated fat. It can also be added to a savory oatmeal with chicken broth, ginger, mushrooms, and kale. Salmon can be paired with eggs, used in a breakfast bowl, or eaten on toast topped with capers and dill. 2. Crack some eggs. Eggs are a breakfast staple for a reason. They're versatile, quick to cook, and packed with nutrients. 1 whole large egg has 6 to 7 grams of protein, while 1 large egg white has 3 to 4 grams of protein, and most adults eat 2 to 3 eggs for breakfast, Finelli says. However, she adds that for most people, 2 to 3 eggs aren't enough protein to reach that 30% of the day's overall protein goal. For that reason, she recommends pairing your eggs with nut butter on toast, or adding cottage cheese or dairy to your eggs to increase the protein content. 3. Eat more plants. All 3 dietitians recommend incorporating plant-based protein sources into breakfasts. They cook faster than most animal-based proteins and tend to be pretty versatile. Some ideas they shared: a tofu scramble with veggies, overnight oats made with chia seeds and nut butter, and a breakfast taco with black beans and avocado. 4. Find new ways to use protein powder. Finelli suggests thinking outside the blender for ways to integrate protein into your breakfast, while she recommends prioritizing whole food protein sources first. She says protein powder can be a great supplement to have in addition. Protein powder can be added to pancake mix, oatmeal, and yogurt parfaits, she suggests. When choosing a protein powder, Finelli says that whey is a good choice because it contains all the essential amino acids the body needs. Whey is an animal-based protein, so vegetarians and vegans should opt for a plant-based protein like soy or pea protein, she says. Adding to make sure to check out the ingredient list and limit added sugar. 5. Go with the grain. One protein-rich food that often goes under the breakfast radar is quinoa, says Dr. Mayo. 1 cup contains 8 grams of protein and 5 grams of fiber. Quinoa is a great alternative to grits, Finelli says. Oats have a decent amount of protein too, with 10 grams per cup. Dr. Deutz suggests adding in some chia seeds, flax seeds, nuts, or nut butter, and you have a solid high-protein breakfast. 6. Add in Greek yogurt and cottage cheese. 1 serving of Greek yogurt has 17 grams of protein, which is a pretty significant drop in the bucket. A serving of cottage cheese clocks in at 11 grams of protein, also decent. Finelli says that some of her favorite ways to use Greek yogurt are adding it to pancake, waffle, or muffin mixes, using it in place of sour cream to top off breakfast burritos, blending it into smoothies, and using it in chia pudding or overnight oats. Dr. Mayo says that cottage cheese works great in smoothies too. Neither protein source requires any prep time or cooking whatsoever. Just look out for an excessive amount of added sugars. 7. Go nuts, but not too nuts. Are nuts considered a fat or a protein? That is the eternal question. While nuts and nut butter do contain a good amount of protein, Dr. Deutz considers them more of a fat. They're also high in calories, so he says you don't want to make them your primary protein source unless you're trying to gain weight. But he says that nuts and seeds can make great secondary protein sources at breakfast, such as adding them to overnight oats or a Greek yogurt parfait. 8. Plan ahead. As with most health goals, getting enough protein, including at breakfast, takes planning. A lot of time is given to meals later in the day, and breakfast is often a fly-by-the-seat-of-your-pants meal. Spending a little time meal prepping your breakfast will help ensure you meet your protein needs, Finelli says. She adds that this can look like pre-cooking hard-boiled eggs, baking egg cups, pre-portioning parfaits, and making protein overnight oats. Or it can simply be figuring out what you're going to eat the next morning and making sure you have the ingredients ready. The key is having a plan. By having a protein-rich breakfast, you'll think more clearly, have more energy, and be in a better mood. That's a pretty solid way to start the day.